For clinicians. Communication tips for clinicians in a memory diagnosis meeting. This film is a result of research conducted at the University of Bristol. People living with dementia, or MCI, worked together with academics to observe and analyse real-life diagnosis feedback videos from memory services in different parts of the UK. These observations were used to come up with suggested communication tips for clinicians to think about when conducting diagnosis feedback meetings. The room. Where possible, make the room as comfortable as you can for the person or people attending the meeting. Avoid having a desk as a barrier between you. Sit the patient closest to you. They are the focus of the consultation, not the companion. However, do make sure the companion is sitting next to or close by the patient, as they are the source of support. This also means you won't turn away from one person when talking to the other. Minimise background noise. Close windows. If unavoidable, acknowledge it and tell the patient to ask you to repeat if they can't hear. Ensure there are tissues in the room. A diagnosis meeting can be an emotional experience. Think about having a breakout room if at all possible, so patients don't have to go straight into the waiting room after a diagnosis. Body language. Make eye contact with both the patient and the companion. Primarily address the patient, but include the companion where appropriate. Avoid turning your back whilst talking, even if you need to look at your computer or notes. If you do need to turn your back on the patient and companion, make sure they have finished what they are saying first. If you're looking at your computer or notes, explain why.
Hiya.
Hello, hiya.
Hi, my name's Paul. I'm from the memory clinic.
Oh,
Spoken language.
Great.
thank you so
Avoid ambiguous questions which can cause confusion.
How are you now?
In what respect?
Instead, consider:
How is your memory today?
Yeah, not too bad.
avoid questions that sound like a test. Instead, lead with statements.
Do you remember when I saw you last and we spoke about a possible diagnosis?
Instead, consider:
So, I saw you a month ago and we talked about a possible diagnosis of dementia.
Yeah.
let the patient know from the start that whilst this is their consultation, there may be some questions you need to ask the companion. If you want to bring the companion into the discussion, ask the patient's permission and don't undermine the patient's view.
I think your wife might not agree with you there.
Instead, consider:
Simon, do you mind if I ask your wife a few questions and find out what she thinks about this?
Please. Yeah, no problem.
avoid negative language and keep to the facts.
I am very sorry to have to tell you this. Dementia can be a very scary word.
Instead, consider:
Dementia is a condition in the brain that affects different people in different ways. You are still exactly the same person you were before you got this diagnosis.
use encouragement and avoid applying pressure when talking about next steps. For example, joining groups.
The best thing you can do is get out there and socialise as much as possible.
Instead, consider:
Would you like to try to go to any local groups? I know a really good one that meets at the town hall.
make sure before suggesting a support group that you know the location and have information on where these take place, or that you can refer the patient to someone who can provide them with this information. Avoid jargon or explain what it means.
We recommend cognitive stimulation therapy.
Instead, consider:
We run some local groups that can help keep your brain active. Would you like to hear more about them?
other points to consider. Make sure you are prepared. Read the patient's notes if known. Establish how much the patient wants to know. Listen and be guided by what the patient and companion are saying. Don't dwell on the test results before giving the diagnosis. Patients and companions will be anxious to know the results. Keep information brief and to the point. Make sure there is enough time to cover the information. Make space to ask if they have some questions for you. If the patient is not engaging, they may be in shock or finding it hard to process. If this is the case, gently move to giving more information to the companion. Thank you for watching our film.